Away for our radio launch party that's actually happening on Friday, March the 8th. Yay! So for those of you who are attending, for those of you that want to go, all you got to do is go to Eventbrite and the information is there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's a free RSVP. And like I said before, there is a giveaway from Dr. Barchek. It is with the Wellness Wake Up Call. That is his book, and he's giving it away for our radio launch party. You all are welcome to attend. Now, I got a guest in studio that's making some. He's ruffling feathers, I would say. He's making waves.
Ruffling feathers?
Is that the best way to explain it?
Yeah, I like to shake things up.
I think that's what you're doing. I have someone in the building to let him introduce yourself. Sir, please tell our listeners, tell our viewers who you are.
Christopher Darkins. I am the community chief for a nation-building organization referred to as Y'all Life. We are really focused on being kind of like the tip of the spear to the black community as it relates to defense, whether it's self-defense, legal defense, or just economic defense.
Okay, very good. What is this I need you to do too? You need to pum yourself in.
Pum myself in.
Yeah. So when we have our guests that come in, we need people to know how excited they are about being here. So when I say I got Chris Darkins in the building, it's going to go pum. I'm for real.
Okay,
I'm
all
seriously
right. Say it. Go ahead and say it.
We got Chris Darkins in the building.
Pew.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Thanks for having us, by the way. I appreciate you giving us this platform to speak on.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you, and we want to hear your story. We want you to tell us about it. So I understand you got some football background. Tell us about that first, and then we'll go into to what you came for.
I'm Houston raised. Went to a straight Jesuit college for preparatory. On the University of Minnesota on the football scholarship. I was drafted in the 4th round in, I think it was the 96 draft for the Green Bay Packers.
Hey.
First year, we went to the Super Bowl and won. Second year, we went back to the Super Bowl and lost. Third year, I realized I wasn't being paid enough to take the constant abuse from coaches and physical abuse, and decided I was going to go off and start a couple businesses.
I've never really heard a football player, NFL player, say that they weren't paid enough. I've never heard that.
Well, you'd be shocked. I mean,
obviously, I am shocked now.
The lifestyle's expensive, being a professional football player. The abuse you have to take on the field physically is significant. And then you, quite candidly, as a football player, you are a piece of property. And the team owns you. They trade you. If you kneel, they cut you. If you say things they don't like, they take away your livelihood. So there's actually quite a lot of players who would tell you quite candidly, if I could make 6 figures doing something else, I'd quit football today.
Okay, so how long did you play?
I played I had 3 credit seasons.
Okay, very cool. All right, now what is your experience in law?
So, I have a very interesting relationship with law. It started back in I think early 2000s, late 1990s. I was arrested about 2 blocks away from my home after coming home from church for illegal lane change, failure to identify myself, and driving without a license. Now, all of those were trumped up charges, but it was.
Oh yeah, because I was about to say you must have did something. You had to do something.
Yeah, so I was driving down the street, and the street was empty. There was a police car that I couldn't tell was a police car because it was so far away when I saw him moving in the right. I went to change lanes. The police car was going so fast down a residential street that it had to hit its brakes to slow down. He pulled me over, sat there for 15 minutes, and then finally I get out of the car and I'm like, can I ask him what you stopped me for? He jumps into the via of the window, pulls out his gun, points it at me, tells me to get back in the car. So I get back in the car. He comes up to the window and he says, license and registration. I said, what are you stopping me for? He said, get out the car. Takes me to the back of his police car, pats me down, puts me in the back seat, cuffs me, puts me in the back seat of the car, then sits there for 15 minutes. He says, okay, what's your name? Chris Darkins. Looks up my name. It takes another 15 minutes trying to find warrants on me. Couldn't find any. Then he eventually had 3 or 4 of the cop cars come, puts me in the cop car with 2 other folks, a couple of
You gave him your name.
Gave him my name. My driver's license was in the car. My wife was actually in the car as well. She's thinking nothing of it. She's thinking just a regular stop for something trivial because I didn't do anything. Right? So he ends up saying, my wife overheard him, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the riot. He's going to jail. He can beat the rap, but he can't beat the riot. So we're going to take him, and he's going to sit there, and he's going to wish he never, ever asked me what I stopped him for.
All of this?
All of that.
Okay, so what's the case? Tell me about the case. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So is the case tied to what happened to you when you got pulled over?
Well, so that happened 27 years
Okay,
ago.
okay.
And that eventually started my infatuation with the law.
Yeah.
I had to say to myself, how is it that I can live in a free country but get snatched off the street and thrown in the cell for not using my blinker and changing lanes? It was very obvious. I did use my blinker, he just said I did. So that started a voracious study of the law, kind of understand everything down at the constitutional level. So from 2000, early 2000 to 2016, anytime I would get pulled over or stopped, I would essentially assert my rights, and most of the times I get arrested. And I would also help people. I would coach people through cases that they
How many
had.
times have you been arrested?
I've probably been arrested 5 or 6 times.
Okay,
Yeah.
go with your story. I'm sorry.
So I would coach people. So people would come to me and say, hey, I've been charged with this, and I'd say, okay, this is how you did it, because I've beat the government in every case that they brought against me. Right? Most of them, in fact, all of them, had no real basis in law, and I knew the law so well because of my studies that I could
But
coach other
you're
people.
not an attorney though,
I'm not.
but
I'm
you
not.
know the law.
I know the law.
Okay.
So in 2016, I was helping a gentleman out of Georgia who was, he had some money taken from him in an airport. So I helped him get it back. And that obviously pissed off the government, and they got really upset. So they decided that they wanted to accelerate an indictment against him, but include me in the indictment. So I was listed in a 32-man indictment.
Because you helped him?
Well, that's not what they said. What they said is that I was one of 32 people in the indictment who was charged with conspiracy to possess with the intent to distribute marijuana in the Middle District of Georgia. Now, I had been to Georgia twice in my life, right? But they know that conspiracy charges are very difficult to beat, right? The government's conviction rate is 97%. So they wrapped me into that case, thinking like, oh, well, they referred to me as a jailhouse attorney. So they said, well, let's see if he can get himself out of this situation, how he deals with this. So I have no idea what evidence they had against me. It didn't matter to me. I went to court after they arrested me. I went to court and I said to the judge, I said, hey, look, this indictment doesn't even state a charge against me. And either you're going to let me go or take me to a cell, and then I'm going to let the appellate courts figure it out. So for the next 7 months, I sat in a cell essentially fighting with the government about the fact that what you're charging with me is not even a federal crime. And I ended up winning the argument. They ended up dismissing the case against me. But after they had convinced the other guys to take deals early on before they would let me go, because they did not want to see, they did not want them to see, or anybody else to see, that this would not hold up in the appeals court, the fact that they were charging me with something that wasn't even a crime. But they've been convicting black folks for that for the last 30, 40 years.
This is a lot. And we probably would definitely need more time to discuss something as heavily as this. So what are you doing in your program to help others from having to go through this ever again?
So,
Or experience what you've experienced, rather.
yeah. So Y'all Life is essentially a national government for Negroes. Okay. And just like the U.S. government provides public education to give us the essential tools we need to be successful in society, Y'all Life does the same thing. We give black folks, Negroes, the tools they need in order to be successful in a society that is hostile towards them, that has a criminal justice system that is determined to put them in jail and incarcerate them for a long time. Right? So we give them those tools. We give them education. We also give them the support. If one of our citizens goes to jail, we're right there standing by their side, ensuring that they have the resources that are necessary, ensuring that they have the advocacy that's required in order to effectively remove themselves from the situation, from the incarceration. And one of the cases that I know that we wanted to talk about here is the one about Rollo, and he's a very popular rapper in the Atlanta, Georgia area. But he's more than just a rapper. He's an individual that had made some money through whatever means he made money. But then he went out and he bought, instead of buying himself, big houses out in the white suburbs, he went out and he bought an apartment complex in his own neighborhood that he grew up in.
That's very smart.
Yeah, very smart. But then he let people in the neighborhood live in that apartment complex for free. Right? So that's the type of community we want to build, and those are the type of people we want in our community.
Those are the kind of people you want to uplift.
That's right. But when he got indicted for possession of marijuana, right, with the intent to distribute, something that, mind you, Europeans are doing all across the country and being touted on the cover of Forbes as the next trillionaires and billionaires, right? He does the exact thing or a similar thing, and now he's facing 20 to life. So we felt that it was important, the men of Y'all Life, the households of Y'all Life, felt it was important to support someone who does those type of things for their community, and to help them fight against these charges that are quite candidly unconstitutional because they are not real federal violations of law, and two, they're just not equitable, they're just not fair.
When does he go back to trial, or when's his next court date, or how is that?
So he was indicted in April of last year, and he's on no bond. He's definitely not at risk of fleeing. I mean, he has so many resources and assets, and he's a pillar of that community. He's not going to go anywhere, but they decided that they wanted to make an example out of him. A lot of his songs that he had really were thumbing his nose at the fact that white supremacy is trying to hold black folks down. He had a song called, excuse me for curse, ox shit, pop it, and 12 Can't Stop, talking about the juries and the prosecutors and how they are coming after people and charging them with things knowing that they can't defend themselves, even though they haven't really violated any laws. So, he's a very outspoken proponent for the rights of Negroes all over the place. So, we really think it's important to support him.
So this happened to him in April
of last year.
Yeah. And his next court date hasn't been determined.
It hasn't been determined. I mean, they've been slow rolling. What they do is they like to put you in a cell, separate you from your family, and then
break you down mentally.
Break you down mentally.
So how would you like others who are tuned in, people that are listening, what would you like them to do to help you all's cause with supporting Rollo?
Well, I think the way you can help our cause is if you support Y'all Life, then you're supporting Rollo and everyone who's like him, and it's in a similar situation, not only from the criminal justice system, but economically, socially, intellectually. You're supporting all of those different initiatives. And you can do that by going to www.yalife.com and simply going to the link that says more information, clicking it, filling out your name and information, and then someone from Y'all Life will contact you and tell you what we're really about. That way you can find out firsthand what it is to be about nation building.
I think you said it very well today.
Thank you.
You got it all in there.
Pew, pew.
Right.
Pew, pew, pew. I bet I left 3 out.
Guys, if you want more information about what Y'all Life is doing, you can go to www.yallife.com. That's YAHLIFE.com, and then click on more information. Chris Darkins, thank you for coming to the Amanda Sapp Show today.
Amanda Sapp, thank you for having me on.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Guys, when we come back, we've got our final in-studio guest. This is your girl Amanda Sapp from the Amanda Sapp Show, the new amazing 102.5 FM, your Duke station. We'll be right back.